Hey guys, how's it going? Well, I'm out here just tinkering this afternoon. It's Sunday afternoon, and I've been working on this old car again. It's kind of fun to tinker with some things on it, and I had to do a little work to address a fuel system leak back there at the back, and then I'm working on the spark plug tube seals right now. So, you want to hear another good one from the people at the Mopar forums, specifically FABO, our geniuses over there at FABO. All right, well, I was taking these plugs out. I started on the first one up here, and I got the socket on it and began to loosen it, and that's when I realized that it's already loose. You didn't have to have the socket, the wrench for it. I turned it out by hand with some difficulty because it's right behind the alternator. So I thought that's pretty strange because I put the plugs in this last time, and I know at least once or twice, and I don't leave plugs loose. The spec on these, I know it in my head, is 30 foot-pounds of torque for the spark plugs on these. So I thought, okay, I'm going to check a couple more without just taking them all the way out. And sure enough, I did two more back down through there. I put the wire back on one of them, but did a couple more, and they were, some of them were, one of them was that loose, and one of them was nearly that loose, but they were not anywhere near where I had torqued them to. And this hadn't been that many miles ago. So I thought, okay, what's going on here? And then I started to think that I had done something with these spark plugs, like I had taken them out for some reason and then just replaced them back in there. So I'm trying to think what I did there. And I thought, okay, well, I realized what I did. I looked at the plug. These are the plugs that are in it. These are Autolites 68s, if anybody's curious. It's almost like politics, spark plug choices, but this is it. This is one of the ones that came out of the front one there. So nothing wrong with the plug, except you notice what's missing off of it? Well, the crush washer's missing. So you may ask yourself, well, what's the crush washer? Well, you look at this other plug. This is the same kind of plug that goes in this engine. Right there, that's a crush washer. So it crushes minutely, not even enough to really notice when you torque it. And guess what? That's what keeps your plug torqued in the head, because your head's always heating up and cooling off, expanding slightly and contracting. And so if you don't have that washer on there, then it's going to work its way loose. So evidently that's what's went on with this. So I was thinking, okay, how did this happen? Then I realized, I got it. I figured out what I had done. It was all, well, I'll say it's halfway my fault. So somewhere along the way, I was looking at threads on FABO, and somewhere I found a thread, or a couple threads, maybe even more than that. Several people were talking about, oh, you need to take the washers off those spark plugs. If it's later than a 63 and earlier than the peanut head, which I think is 75 or 6. Peanut head on these is the ones that does not, it's redesigned. It doesn't have these tubes in it. These are the spark plug tubes. The spark plug fits down in there because it has to have that, because that's open to the inside of the cylinder head where that hole is, and the hole where the plug threads in is on down in there. So you have to have this to keep oil away from the spark plug. So it's got a little seal on it, and my initial assumption was that the seals were bad, which they're not in perfect shape, but they're not terrible. I'm going to replace them anyway because I have some. But when the spark plug is only got about 20 inches of torque on it, then that'll let the spark plug tube seals leak, don't you think? So anyway, I was the one that took these seals off, these crush washers off here, stupidly, from reading these experts' idea on there to do that. Anyway, as I was going to say, the peanut head's the one that doesn't have those. It's made the cylinder head has just got the, it's kind of sculpted, so you can just, it's like a V8 cylinder head. You can just see the plugs at any time. And it doesn't have all that. Well, they said, well, if it's from like 64 up through whatever the year was before they switched to the peanut head, then you can take those washers off, but if it's a peanut head, you have to leave them on there. I thought that doesn't sound right to me at all, because here's the thing about this. I don't mess with spark plugs much, and I don't think about them much, but you look at this spark plug, right away, you know why you're not supposed to take the crush washer off of it. You see, that's the seat right there, where the threads are, and then the wide spot down here below it where the hex and all that is. Well, that interface between that part between the head, this part, and the threads, that's where it seats on the block, or the cylinder head. That's what keeps, makes your seal, and that's what keeps it tight and all that. So those always take a crush washer. If it's got a flat seat on it like that one, they always take a crush washer. Okay, well, if you have one of these types of plugs, this is one that I've had for some GM stuff. It's upside down, but that's R44 TS, which TS means tapered seat. You look at this plug, and that area right there, see how it's got about a 45-degree taper? You can clearly see that right there. See how it's tapered? It's not flat. The taper there makes the seal on these. They do not use a crush washer. There may be a special application somewhere that does, but normally they don't. So let's analyze this. Okay, so these geniuses said to take these off here for no good reason. Even though they should know better, if they knew what they were talking about, and they understood that this type of plug has to have a crush washer, and if they looked through the TSBs and never, like I did, and couldn't find anything anywhere where Mopar had ever put out a piece of paper or a guide or a document that ever said take these dang washers off these plugs, or if they had any sense at all, they would know not to do that. So I'm not getting on to anybody like myself who just followed that bad advice, because we didn't know any better. But now you do. Don't take the doggone crush washers off these spark plugs. If it's the flat type of plug like this one, don't take them off. Don't take them off. Your plugs will back out. Don't listen to these people. They're crazy. They're just crazy. They're so, well, anyway, that is what it is. So I'm going to go ahead and replace the seals. Fortunately, I had this other set of these. Are some nice plugs, or NGKs, and I thought I was going to use them for something else, but I guess when I build that other Slant 6 in there, I'm just going to put Champions back in it, put it right back exactly the way it was. So I'm not as OCD about it on this car. But there you go, man. I don't know why people do stuff like this. If you just maintain these things and follow the book on them, you never have problems out of them. Here it was, the plugs were backing out on this thing. I didn't know that, and it hadn't even been that long. I mean, they got plenty of thread on them. It's not like they're going to ever blow out. But that's, that was stupid on a couple levels. It was stupid on those people to ever suggest something like that at risk of messing somebody's engine up or causing them problems otherwise. And it was stupid of people like us to believe it. Call it what it is. I've had it with these forums. They're terrible. You got all these goons that never were ever anywhere around these cars when they were built or worked on them. I think all the techs now that ever worked on them back in the day are dead, or they're in a nursing home or something. They're too old to even contribute anymore. So they can't come back and say, well, no, we didn't do that. We never took those off. It's high time that people, when they find some kind of nonsense like this, just call it for what it is. It's nonsense. Stupid nonsense. So all you got to do, don't try to reinvent the wheel on a Slant 6. All you got to do is just change the plugs, put this right type of plug in it. You don't have to put any G3 or nitride or nitrogen or nuclear tipped or anything, any kind of other crap like that in here. Just put the straight kind of plugs that go in it, and you'll be well and happy, and everybody be smiling. That's all you got to do. You don't have to put purple spark plug wires on it. You don't have to put a special blue distributor cap on it. You don't have to do anything. Just put what the book says to put in it from 50 years ago. And you know what? It's going to run just as good as it ever did 50 years ago when the thing was new. It's a mind-blowing idea, ain't it? All right, guys. Well, another rant is in the books. Thanks for hanging around. We'll see you. Bye-bye.